What's going on, Jello family, and welcome to the Angelo Carlos podcast. I'm here with my boy Tommy. He is a senior here at UC San Diego, majoring in business and economics while minoring in marketing. He's also the president of Try and Flex. One of my best friends at the gym and in life. Tommy, what's going on, babe?
Wow, what an introduction. I don't think I've ever had a more humble introduction.
Of course, my brother. Of course, so happy. For those of you who are curious, Tommy we've been trying to get Tommy on the podcast for quite some time. He's been so busy with class as well as with building Try and Flex to one of the most popular Instagram pages here at UCSD and hosting the Try and Flex bodybuilding competition. So, Tommy, thank you so much, man.
Not only that, I would like to say that, yeah, it's true that Angelo was trying to get me on the podcast since Kyle.
Yeah.
When was that?
Wow. Kyle was like a few months ago, and Kyle was actually a board member with Tommy, right?
He is. But the reason why I haven't been on the podcast is because I feel like I didn't have a lot of credential to be on the Angelo.
Not you.
I don't know. I feel like it's an honor. It really is. Like, not a lot of people can get on the Angelo Carlos podcast. And I feel like I need to bring my all. I need to, it's kind of motivation. It's really motivation. I'm like, oh, shoot. I need to get my stuff together so I can be on the Angelo Carlos podcast.
Not even, brother. Oh, can you come to the frame?
Oh, yeah.
There we go. Yeah, no, dude. I've always thought the world of you, man. Like, just how social you are, and then your ambition to build, Try and Flex, and then always going to work and getting your bag basically while you're a full-time student. So I always thought the world of you. That's why I've always wanted to have you come on. So thank you. We're actually going to start the podcast now, Tommy, with kind of questions. So Tommy is really huge into fitness. That's actually how we kind of met. We worked out together, and we started talking about our love for bodybuilding. But I wanted to understand with you, what got you into fitness and into bodybuilding?
Well, it's actually, I've been kind of active throughout my life.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since I was a kid, I did Taekwondo, Muay Thai, as well as wrestling throughout my early childhood all the way up here. Mostly because my mom kind of forced me to do extracurriculars.
Oh, cool.
And I was a little bit fat.
No way.
So a lot of people don't believe it now, but a lot of my hometown friends can't see that I'm fit here.
Yeah.
So it's like a different of perspective. And I actually have the hardest time losing weight.
Mm-hmm.
So since when I was around 11 or 12, I was actually diagnosed with pre-diabetic.
No way.
Yeah. And for my mom, it's like a wake-up call. I'm like, oh, let's get more active. So she just puts me in a lot of sports.
Yeah.
I can tell you this. She put me in everything. Soccer, football,
Oh, that's crazy.
baseball, basketball. I can tell you this. I cannot catch a basketball, a football for the life of me. You can underhand a football and I'll somehow drop it.
Yeah.
But
if you guys ever see this guy's physique, it's like crazy. He has a lot of mass as well. He's very aesthetic. So hearing that you're not the best athlete is kind of shocking to me.
a lot of people don't believe me. I would go to sports event for like other club and they were like, of course you're going to win. Look at you. And I was like, man, let's watch me do a sprint, watch me do a jump. I can guarantee you would not see me do anything athletic. But I struggled with weight loss my whole life. And the one big crucial catalyst for that is COVID.
Yeah.
COVID actually made me want to work out because I was trapped in my house playing video games. That sounds like the life, right?
Yeah.
Just in your house that you're not paying for.
Yeah,
I have a mom who's a chef who can cook quality food every day. Imagine not thinking about food, not thinking about rent, and just playing video games.
Yeah.
At a certain point, it becomes boring.
Yeah, it becomes kind of boring, right?
Yeah, you're doing the exact same thing. I didn't have a job. Online classes when they first initially. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can basically finish 4 classes of lower division classes in the span of 2 hours.
Crazy, huh?
And the rest of the day was just video games.
Yeah. What video games were you playing, if you want to tell us?
The worst of the worst.
PC, PS5?
League of Legends.
A bunch of League. Oh my gosh.
Don't get on league. I can tell you that. I'm sadly still playing, but don't get on it. But to a certain point, it did become boring. Like you playing the exact same game every single day. And I always had the motivation. I always wanted to lose weight. Every time I got to the gym, try to go to the treadmill, honestly, 2 or 3 months, I would stop and go back to playing video games.
Oh, really?
So COVID actually helped me, hey, I'm done with this. Let's start to hustle.
Yeah.
Because I also, at some point, I saw my body deteriorate.
Really?
Because after wrestling, I was around 180, 85 in terms of body weight. And really high percentage in fat composition. However, COVID hit, I went all the way up to 200. Whoa. Yeah, it was not a good look.
Yeah.
And something kind of like hit. Like something was like, I don't want to be fat anymore.
Yeah.
I want to focus on my health.
How did you feel at 200? Can you give the audience like what your body felt like, and then how did you feel mentally too at that weight?
I would wake up, I would sleep really late and wake up really late.
No way.
It was really, my energy and I think my metabolism was really off, where I wasn't converting a lot of energy. So I always felt drowsy. I never had a lot of motivation to do anything. It was not the best time.
Yeah.
But looking back, like, I'm glad I had it so I know what to do if that ever happens again. I think it's just a good perspective to just have. To like, life is like a roller coaster.
Yeah, you go roller.
You can't just all have
Can't always be up, right?
Yeah.
So what steps did you take during this journey? Like, was there a certain YouTuber you're watching? Was there someone who really inspired you to kind of change your physique? And then what did you do to get yourself out of that rut per se?
I would say I'm not really sure there was anyone who I watched except Jeff Nippard.
Yeah, heard, bro. We always talk about him. He has the best videos.
Jeff Nippard, for me, when I was young and confused in terms of like, man, I'm at a gym. I don't know what to do. Like, what is this movement? Like, what does this work? I would do 10 sets of bench press, not knowing how to do the right form. And I usually, I would go to the gym after work, and this would be like 10 p.m. at night.
Yeah, that's crazy. So you're always getting your bag, dude.
I try to work as well just because my initial gym when I first started was really expensive.
Oh, is it Equinox?
It was, I wasn't there yet, but it was Anytime Fitness.
Oh, Anytime is kind of expensive. Yeah, it's like $60, right?
Yeah, $60 per month, but there was no front desk. So you had a key fob to always, it's just like a key pass.
Yeah, to scan.
And during the time that I went, there was nobody. So for me, would you be surprised to say that I was usually not this personable? I was always kind of awkward and shy.
Way. So for the audience who's curious, Tommy is extremely social. Like, we'll go to the gym from time to time, and then everyone is just saying hi to him. So to hear that he was at a point where he wasn't super social is kind of a shock.
Honestly, like looking back, I'm honestly surprised how personable and more extroverted I am now compared to I was even 4 years ago.
That's crazy. So tremendous growth there. Any tips on how to become more personable, man?
I'm glad you asked that. What a wonderful question. I could attribute the most of my growth to do something that I really don't want to do.
Oh, fascinating.
So I think I believe it's called exposure therapy.
Exposure therapy,
Yeah. So let's say so right now I'm dealing with, I have a big fear of public speaking. I imagine most people do.
A lot of us, yeah.
And one of the best way to deal with that is I actually sign up for a public speaking class. And all we do is write speeches and present them, and we get critical feedback. And I think something like that, where I'm not comfortable doing that, and if I keep doing that, sooner or later, I'll develop it. I really do think that life is similar to a numbers game, like in terms of averages. Like, you will get rejections, And from that rejection, you can either grow or you can either, sink.
Mhm.
For me, I always think I just need to deal with like the averages.
Yeah.
Like, for example, let's say auditioning for an actor, like auditioning.
Yeah.
The average audition an actor has to go to is 1 to 64.
Whoa. Before he gets their first role.
Yeah, it's between 1 to 64. So don't think right off the back, wow, my first audition, I didn't make it. Like, go through the numbers a bit.
Yeah.
Once you are at your 64th like audition, realize, what am I doing wrong? Can I get a mentor to tell me what I'm doing wrong?
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of that, I think a mentor is also a really good step to progression.
Yeah.
I can actually talk about one of my mentors.
Yes. So Tommy is really big into just finding people who have gotten to where he wants to go to, and he's always been a great learner and investing his time to kind of find out who that person was or is. So why don't you talk about mentorship? Who are your mentors and what kind of you learn from them?
One of my biggest mentor, and he was honestly just a random customer who just comes by every single day. Regardless of what day it is, weekend, weekday, he would always... I used to work at a deli.
Oh, cool. Talk about that. I go.
It was one of my first jobs, and it was just like a starter job. I imagine everyone has their days where they worked at fast food, retail, grocery stores. And for me, I worked at a deli.
That's awesome. No, like our guests, like Claire, she was telling us she used to work kind of like at restaurant too during COVID or during her senior year. So everyone that starts that job, right? Yeah.
Honestly, I think it's a really good experience. And two things comes out of that. One, I've met a mentor. He was a Jewish lawyer who just comes by and gives me life advice. But his life advice really hits. Like, usually it's more of motivation, which exactly what I needed for the time, because I was working 40, 50 hours.
Oh,
yeah.
This is crazy.
This was during COVID as well.
Yeah.
And this was also during first year. Yeah. So everything was online.
It was on Zoom still, yeah.
Yeah. So it was a little bit easier to work full time than it is now, having classes and commuting back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, at the time, it was the same old thing. 8-hour shift, go home. 8-hour shift, work out, go home, wake up, 8-hour shift.
Yeah.
And it was the grind.
Yeah.
And at some point, I just like, wow, I've been through this motion for like months. Because I worked at the deli for roughly a year.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You stacked up your cash pretty good there.
Pretty much.
Great.
Starting off with deli and all the way up to assistant manager.
Awesome. So he kind of grinded it out. You became assistant manager after working at the deli for so many years. Can you talk about the advice you got from this Jewish lawyer? Like, was he practicing some type of law and just give you advice about that, or just life in general?
He gave me a lot of advice, but one of the biggest advice is when I was down, he said something that stuck with me throughout.
Yeah.
He always asked me about how I'm feeling, how my day is. And one time I told him, I'm just tired. And he told me, you can't be tired. You have to conquer the world. And it stuck. It stuck. I can hear his voice right now saying that. And that's actually one of the quote I will. Yeah. I know. For me.
Yeah, goosebumps.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. From that perspective, it showed me I'm young. I have a lot to live for.
Yeah.
I have time after time. Like, I have enough time that I can fail and see growth and progress from that.
Mm-hmm.
And from that, it was honestly a wake-up call.
Yeah.
And another thing that I got from the deli is that it was so hard and tedious that it's motivating me to not go back to something like that.
Oh, so you've been through the trenches and realized you want more from your life.
Of course. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I think jobs like that are necessary, but it's a lot of work.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot, especially it's very taxing on your body.
Honestly.
I remember during my time too, during pandemic, taking classes, and then realizing wow, I should also work. So I would drive Uber Eats and DoorDash. And it's just so exhausting on your body. And then you're like, dude, I don't want to do this forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it kind of inspired me to change. That's pretty cool, man. So you said to conquer the world. At that time, did you understand you wanted to build a fitness brand or go into kind of coaching? What was your conquer the world moment?
At that time, I was more of a runner.
Okay.
See, my transition in terms of fitness has been a roller coaster since I started off with combat sports. So Muay Thai, wrestling, Taekwondo. It was something that I was good at. So it was something that motivated me to continue. But after COVID, I gained a lot of weight. I decided to lose weight. And one of the best way, just from learning from all my coaches, from like all my sports, is running, cardio.
Yeah.
And even now, I am a true believer that cardio is the best way to lose weight, if not diet.
Diet.
To freeze fast.
Yeah. That's so cool, dude.
But yeah, I was roughly I got all the way up to 208 at one point, and I got down to 185.
Whoa.
And
it's a huge change.
The start of fall quarter of 2022, so it was my sophomore year. It was late fall quarter of my sophomore year.
Yeah.
I got a gym membership. And ever since, I've just been grinding.
Yeah.
And that was my first real experience of taking working out seriously. And from that point on, it was constant learning. I didn't have any goals to be a bodybuilder. I had no goals to be a club. I just wanted to, I saw progress from losing weight. And from that, I'm like, wow, I have the consistency, the dedication, and basically the will to reach my goal and lose around 20 pounds.
That's crazy.
So I thought, hey, I always wanted a kind of a aesthetic body.
Yeah, yeah.
Real quick, do you believe in manifesting?
Absolutely. I feel like everything in life, it was just through manifesting. Even though you don't believe it, but you put the work in and then it kind of comes true.
I can tell you that when I was struggling with weight loss, and this was at a time where I had really bad body image, I always saw myself like having my dream body. Broad shoulder, tiny waist, just something that I ever imagined.
Yeah.
I can tell you that last year during my competition, I looked at myself in the mirror and it was exactly how I kind of pictured it. It was crazy to me. It was really crazy. I'm like, I physically manifest like
this.
Like, yeah.
This product, this.
Exactly. And the joy of like reaching that, of like attaining that goal.
Yeah.
I can tell you it's the best feeling in the world.
I remember that too, because we were at the gym and then you were just saying, oh, this is my dream physique. And I looked at you like, God dang, you look good, bro.
I know.
Oh, that's crazy. Was there like is there anyone's like physique you kind of looked up to, or is this more or less you knew you wanted the V shapes, you wanted the great core, the great chest, and the whole like aesthetic physique?
Ironically enough, I kind of grew up watching WWE.
Oh yeah.
So just seeing people like Hulk Hogan, or Randy Savage. Just seeing that, like, wow, one day I want to look like them. And I was also a avid comic read.
You want to look like a superhero.
Yeah, Superman was one of my biggest inspiration. Just having like broad shoulder, like small waist,
strong physique.
Yeah. Just having and like the will to like conquer the world, kind of like that to do. So, and in terms of, and also going to Remac, there's a lot of very like strong people.
Physiques, great physiques, very strong people.
Exactly. One of my biggest inspirations is Terrence.
Dude, oh God, bro. We're gonna put like a photo of Terrence here or something. Terrence is our boy, straight shredded, like 5'11", 175. Dude does not look like he's natty at all. Like he's the most natty guy you'll ever see in your life. And he's just, I have never seen such a great physique to Terrence.
And I know he's been working out for a while.
Mhm.
That just shows consistency.
Yeah.
And that's one thing. The one thing on working out that really inspires me is the consistency.
Consistency, yeah.
I hear a lot of working as a personal trainer. I hear a lot of my clients say, "I don't want to get too big." Well, the thing is,
Hard to get too big.
I wish it's that easy. I wish I could just do a couple of couple reps and I get that big. But
I always thought that too. I was like, yeah, that's really hard to get too big. And then you go every day.
it's hard to get a good physique. And I think people need to acknowledge that. It takes time, not only in terms of working out, but also in terms of your diet and your sleep. And I think all three of that's basically a full-time job.
Yeah.
It's a lifestyle at that.
It is a lifestyle. It is a full-time job because if you guys ever get into like fitness, weightlifting, or just taking care of your physique to try and look like a more aesthetic or bodybuilder version of yourself, you'll realize that weightlifting is like the easiest part, but then the food, eating clean, dieting, it's so hard, especially if you want to go out with friends. So Tommy, I completely agree with you there, man.
Trust me, I can go to the gym 2 times a day.
Mm-hmm.
That's the easy part. That's the part where I'm like,
So fun. You talk to people.
Yeah, exactly. Like Angelo said, I go to the gym, and I love talking to people. I love hearing their stories. I love seeing what they do and like how they progress in terms of their fitness goal. It's very inspiring.
Yeah.
That's the easy part for me. The hard part is getting in, preparing food, preparing the right food in terms of whole grains, high protein, and fats are fine, only if it's unsaturated. Saturated fat are also fine, but in moderation, of course.
Yeah.
And 8 hours sleep. Once I started focusing, because at the time when I started working out, it was just working out. It was, hey, I optimized my training. At the time, it was not optimized, but I thought that, why am I not seeing growth? And I did more research about it. If I wanted a solid and good physique, diet and sleeping are crucial. I always break it down in 3 steps. Training, diet, and sleep or recovery. Training is the easy part. You can get it's the fun part. It releases serotonin. If anything, it's more like therapy. It releases feel-good hormones, and I really enjoy it. Diet for me is the hardest part, just because I have to prep a lot of different things.
Yeah.
At the time of my bulk, so from sophomore year, that 1 year, I went from 185 to 230. I think that's when we met.
Yeah. I remember that, dude.
He was there since day one. Angelo's a real one.
Dude, his friendship has been for a minute, bro.
Surprisingly enough, for how much social I am, he came up to me. I think, if anything, I'll say he's more social than me.
There'll be times me and Tommy at the gym for like 20 minutes. We're just talking about like bodybuilding, about food, about lifting. It's just a vibe, man.
Honestly, Angelo's one of the coolest person I've ever talked to. Also a great wingman. Shout out to Angelo.
Don't be risen with that, my boy Tommy.
But
we should go live next time, bro.
that consistency was hard just because your body naturally adapts to your calories. And in a bulk, my best tip to give to anyone is try to reach for PRs. You have the energy to recover.
Yeah.
On a bulk, I would PR almost every day.
Whoa.
We're just trying to like push my limit.
Yeah.
And I would recover the next day fine due to the amount of calories, protein, and like sleep I was getting.
Yeah.
So the biggest tip, like, you're not going to feel that well looking at your body. It's going to be fat.
Yeah.
Naturally, when you bulk, you will have fat. However, try to find different goals.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest goals that I love to see is pushing more weight. And I push weight in terms of regular squat, front squat, leg press, bench, all skyrocket. Every time I go back to, let's say, a chest day, I usually have 2 chest days. When I go back, I always see some kind of growth. Either if it was a 2.5, a 5, even an extra rep is fine. Just try to push your limit from last time. So that was my biggest advice. And in terms of growth, I skyrocketed.
Yeah.
I think that's when my back really got wider. And a lot of people ask me, like, how do you build a big back? I was like, bulk up, bend over rows, and just hit your fundamentals.
Oh, that's awesome. We'll put like some videos here too, like Tommy's technique. If you're
Yeah, no worries.
I just like over here somewhere. But that's pretty cool. Thank you for like the advice on like how to just take care of your fitness and the PRs, great tips on everything there. I want to go into what really inspired you to build Triton Flex. So for those of you curious, Triton Flex is probably one of the, if not the biggest bodybuilding kind of group here at UC San Diego. And Tommy basically built this from the ground up. Of course, with a lot of help and amazing board members, great people. Kyle, one of the great guys who was on the previous podcast episodes, was here as well. But what inspired you to build Triton Flex?
Do you want to hear the story? Yeah, well,
spill the tea.
When I first came to UCSD,
Yeah,
I had trouble making friends. Like, you can make friends from just study groups. However, I spent a vast majority of my time in the gym.
Yeah.
And the only group at the time was Triton Barbell.
Oh.
At the time, they were more of a social club. And they were mostly weightlifting. And weightlifting in terms of powerlifting.
Yeah.
And Tim, my co-founder and co-president, was also a member at the time. However, we were leaning towards bodybuilding more than powerlifting.
Yeah, it's such a niche too.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And we felt like we didn't have like a community to like, because we would go there just for the vibes.
Yeah.
It's a social aspect.
They work out too.
Of course.
Cool. Endorphins are flowing.
Triton Barbell has been one of my biggest inspiration in terms of having a club where people feel welcome, included. I really felt like I was a part of something.
Yeah.
And once they became, so junior year, they kind of started dying down. And that was the beginning of other club as well. Triton Barbell, in terms of the club, was the first fitness club, if not the only fitness club at UCSD at the time. And afterward, Girl Gains, Triton Aesthetic, Triton Flex came around. Yeah,
a trend, dude.
They started a trend. We kind of just branched it out. And so at the time, Tim and I were like, let's start a bodybuilding club. And given this was at the time, was up in the air.
Yeah.
So like, we say this, but like, it was more just, let's start a bodybuilding club, like more ideas than anything. And one day we were like, let's do it. Let's sign the paper and like get principal board member. Let's see what we can do.
Yeah.
And our first, we technically started the start of fall quarter in 2024. So this year. However, or I guess technically last year. However, we were established since spring quarter of 2023.
Yeah.
We just weren't official.
That's crazy. Was it scary starting any new venture like this?
Tell me about it. Like, I wasn't sure if like anyone would join my club. Like, bodybuilding itself is really niche. We use the term bodybuilding really loosely. It's more for people who just care about overall hypertrophy, their aesthetic, their body, overall good health. But that doesn't mean we exclude other fitness. We love to just, we just want a community. We want a community where people who just like going to REMAC can have a place.
Yeah.
And I think that in seeing from the show, it's exactly what I wanted. And from that point on, man, fall quarter, winter quarter was kind of rough. Just starting out, because at the time it was only 5 board members, 5 or 6.
5 or 6 board members.
Yeah. And we had no money, no idea how to run a bodybuilding show. And it was just us trying to figure things out and trying to be a club and trying to establish ourselves as high as Triton Barbell, Girl Game, trying to stay. Because at the time, we were one of the club that kind of grew with them, but we kind of like we stalled a bit.
Yeah.
While Trident Aesthetic and Girl Games were on the rise, like they were getting like tons of members, tons of events, tons of collab. Like it was very overwhelming for us
Just to see where they're going.
but likewise, it was really motivating. It's just like, wow, we can't let them overtake us. Let's keep going. And
Can I say something really quick with Tommy? The thing with Tommy is that there was anything you want to do in this life, you need to realize like you're just gonna have to figure it out. Like starting that bodybuilding club, try and flex, doing this bodybuilding show, we're gonna talk about it in a bit. Like no one knows what they're doing. Like even with this podcast, I have no idea what I'm doing. But at the end of the day, we just figure it out. So take down the steps to like pay down your ignorance debt for whatever you're trying to accomplish in this world, and just do it. Like what Tommy did. Just doing it. We're figuring out all along the way.
let me add another thing to that. Like I said before, I feel like one of the biggest limitations for me was my ego.
Ego.
Yeah, I always think like I have to get it on the first try.
Yeah, 100%, bro.
That's not how life works, though. You need to fail to actually see progress.
Yeah.
Like, take Jeff Bezos for something. He was going meeting after meeting. He was getting rejected from every single, like, interview until he finally caught a break. And one of the richest person
In the world.
Exactly. Like, I read a lot of self-help books just because...
Love it, bro. Love, give us love to that.
Whenever I have time, like, a lot of narrative book doesn't strike me as, you know, the occasional, like, Percy Jackson. As a kid. But, like, growing up, I felt like I needed more knowledge from people who actually made it successful. So one of the best books that I would recommend to everyone was Start With Why by Simon Sinek.
Oh, wow.
Have you ever read that book?
Oh, no, talk about it.
Oh, my God. Start With Why is perfect in terms of, like, it kind of dives into the deeper meaning on why you do stuff.
Yeah.
It's more like how you do it, why you do it, how you do it, what you're doing, and why you're doing it. It's more of your inner core of your reason. And I think I found my why in terms of fitness. As I'm continuing my fitness goal, cutting for the show, I didn't even know I wanted to do a show until I kind of got injured.
Yeah.
I got injured from bodybuilding, not bodybuilding, powerlifting. For my own poor choices, I didn't recover enough. I was doing powerlifting training while doing Olympic weight training.
That's awesome.
As well as,
Body.
because at the time, I saw a lot of growth.
Yeah, yeah.
And I wanted to dive into the many aspect of weightlifting. And like going to the gym, I met a lot of great people who did powerlifting, Olympic weightlifting, calisthenics. There's so many different aspects of like working out. And to me at the time, who just got into working out, like my flame was high. My energy level was like high. Like I wanted to do a bit of everything. Don't do that. Because that's how you get injured.
You like burn like the candle on both ends, right?
Pretty much.
The wick is just getting closer and closer.
It was funny enough because I had one rest day.
Yeah.
And that one rest day turned to an Olympic weightlifting day.
Oh, wow.
Because I really wanted to do a clean and jerk.
Yeah.
It's such a cool movement to me. And at some point, I didn't recover fast enough because it was 5 straight weeks of no rest days.
That's crazy.
Don't do that. And to the point I got injured. I actually pulled my... I got sciatica, which is pain in the back.
Yeah.
I had to ice my back for 3 weeks just so I can have like mobility and like,
So don't overtrain in the gym.
Don't overtrain. Like realizing like maturing in the gym is realizing rest day are as crucial as any kind of like training days.
Yeah.
Because you need... How your body works is that you tear your muscle, you get protein to build that muscle back up, and when you sleep, you recover that. If you don't have time to recover your body, you just have a bunch of like teared muscle.
Yeah, yeah.
And at the time, I just wanted to work out. I wanted to work out, and I got injured.
Yeah.
I kind of rolled it back See, that was one of my biggest, like, another wake-up call. Like, that's how I realized I do not know anything about working out. I just watch Jeff Nipper.
Well, Jeff has a great advice, but I understand too. You're just trying
He
to
does.
figure everything out, right?
I only kind of saw just the technique and what to do. Like, oh, what are the perfect exercise for chest? What are the perfect exercise for like bicep, legs, and how to do them?
Yeah.
I never watched the kind of how you program your own workout.
Yeah.
After that wake-up call, I went online. And I researched just a lot of different ways to just work out and see what the expert have to say.
Yeah.
I realized, like, I really had to take a step down of like, yeah, I don't know everything about working out, but I can learn.
You can learn.
And I think that was another step up to progressing one of my workouts.
That's awesome.
And once I started cutting, I realized, wow, I have a really good body.
Zeke, can I ask you, since you mentioned cutting, right?
Yeah.
And for those of you who watch the channel, like, I'm very into fitness. Tommy's very into like fitness as well and taking care of yourself. When you took care of your body, like started eating healthy, clean, working out, losing the weight from where you were coming from that place of pain, what did it do for your mindset, your confidence, your mentality with life?
Honestly, it shows me that I can do more than I am capable of.
Love it.
Because one, seeing that progress from 230 to all the way to 180 was such mind-blowing.
Crazy.
It shows that, it shows that I can do anything. I have to stay consistent with it. I just have to put in the work. And third, it takes time.
It does take time.
I'm not sure who said this. I think it was Arnold. Don't quote me on this. Is that fitness fuels ambition. And I'm a true believer of that.
Dude, like Chicken Ronald, right?
Of course.
One of the world's best bodybuilders. The discipline it takes to track your macros, to go to the gym every day, to do cardio, just sleep on time. A lot of that success from fitness and bodybuilding translates to your career in life because he was disciplined enough to run for the governor of California. A lot of bodybuilders are extremely successful in their business life, like Ronnie Coleman, Jay Cutler. They were so disciplined with their physique and their body because everything starts here. Without health, you're nothing. And then they were able to really build these amazing businesses and companies and run for president, or not presidency, but run for leadership in our country.
Honestly, again, I'm a believer in that. It just shows that you really can do anything if you put in the work. It just takes time. It takes time. It takes consistency. And like I said before, life is a number game. If you don't succeed the first time, reflect. Do it again. If that doesn't work, reflect. See what you did wrong and reflect. You will reach your goal one day if you are taking the time to see what things you do wrong. And one thing that really helps is a mentor.
Mentor, yeah.
So again, speaking of that, once I was cutting, I realized that, again, I didn't know a lot about cutting, so I got a coach. Shout out to Coach Aaron Spira. He's a coach that I actually met at REMAC itself, and he is a UCSD alumni.
Oh.
And he reached out to me on, like, he wanted to help me, and I cannot be more grateful to Aaron for, like that opportunity.
Yeah.
He really kept me accountable at the time because 230 to 200, easy. I just had to cut my calories from 6,000 back to my normal 3,000.
Wow, 6,000? Wow, for a full. But anyway, sorry, 6,000 to 3,000.
Exactly. But at 200 all the way to what I wanted to be at 180, I have to either do more cardio, add more step, or decrease the calories. And without a coach, there was no way I would be able to do that while keeping up with school and keeping up with, like, everything else within my life.
Yeah.
So grateful to him and how he just helped me overall. He really kept me accountable. He called me every week, even in a time where I didn't want to be called.
Yeah.
He kept me accountable, and I can't be any more grateful for him. And he's actually one of the reasons why I placed in my first show.
That's crazy. Well, shout out to Coach Aaron, a very exciting, great coach. So definitely one of the reasons Tommy was successful. But Tommy also is actually a coach as well and a trainer, correct, at EOS, I believe?
EOS Fitness.
Yeah. So Tommy, we're gonna leave all Tommy's links down below. So if you ever want coaching through Tommy, one of the best coaches I can completely recommend. Extremely personable, cares about you, and then also very knowledgeable at fitness. So his links will be all down below if you want to reach out to Tommy for coaching, especially once he kind of transitions to EOS after graduation. So excited to hear that. But tell us about your first show. How was the cut like for that? And then tell us also about what you're doing to kind of do these coaching things.
So with the first question, cutting is more of a mental battle because for cutting, you put less emphasis on training and more emphasis on diet and cardio, which are the two aspects that I'll say I least enjoyed just because it takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
And for me, I always have trouble with cardio. One of my best cardio tip is find something that distracts you.
Yeah.
I play TFT like all
I
I
do. A Stairmaster.
See, I don't think I could do the Stairmaster. I do it on the treadmill.
Okay.
I do 12 330 and I consistently try to progress by either increasing the speed or increasing the incline.
What speed and incline do you start at for our viewers who do want to start doing cardio, and how long do you do it?
12 incline, 3 miles per hour for 30 minutes. I'll say for the bare minimum, start off with 3 times a week.
3 times a week.
If not, for me, I personally try to do it after every workout. When I was cutting, start slow because your body needs to be in a state where they know it's burning fat.
Oh, so that's what you do right after workout?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Because fat is just stored energy.
Mm-hmm.
One of my biggest tips for cardio is either doing cardio right after you wake up as a fasted workout. So just doing cardio on an empty stomach. That way your body is using your stored energy rather than any energy you are consuming as in carbs, fat, protein. This is also a tip by Henry Cavill.
Oh yeah, Superman.
Yeah, exactly.
Favorite, bro.
Exactly. Then when I had to increase my cardio, because your metabolism would naturally catch up.
Yeah.
You can't do 12 330 or any kind of cardio for a long period of time. Either you have to decrease your overall calorie intake by either adding more cardio, adding more steps, or just lowering calorie. For me, lowering calories was the last resort because it was to a point where I was eating sub 1,000 calories.
Ooh. And this sub 1,000 calories is not like as he's just trying to lose weight or cut. It's more or less because he was trying to get extremely lean for a bodybuilding show where he needs to show all the muscle he can.
Exactly. And at my limit, I was walking to campus, which is a 2-mile walk, totaling up there and back to 15K steps every day. And that doesn't include the high interval training that I have, as well as cardio, as well as jump rope, eating stuff that 1,000 calories.
Dude, can you give a daily, like the daily workout routine, what it was like, or just the day, one day in that, like towards the ends of prep, what was that like?
So I would wake up and try not to eat anything, just so I could be fasted. I would walk to campus. At the time, most of my classes were online, so I had the liberty to just rewatch them whenever in my convenience.
Yeah.
Thank God for that.
Yeah. To speed.
Yeah. And then I would start my day off by walking to campus. I would just listen to music, listen to podcasts, listen to audiobooks, just trying to make use of my time efficiently and walk to campus. It wasn't a bad walk. It was just very tedious. And at the time, I had a good amount of time. And then I would work out, and this would be what Coach Aaron kind of provided me. It's just a lot of high rep stuff. High rep, low rest time. Because at the time, when you are cutting and at such a low calorie as mine, you're not going to gain any new muscle. But what I was trying to do is maintain the muscle
Maintain muscle.
as well as elevating my heart rate.
Got it.
That's why higher rep, lower rest time is better for cutting,
Mm-hmm.
just because the goal isn't to gain muscle. The goal is to maintain, like showing the muscle that it's still being used, like trying to work the muscle as well as, again, overall elevating heart rate.
Elevate heart rate. Okay.
After that, cardio room. At peak, it was 15 incline for 4 miles per hour for roughly an hour 40.
For those of you who don't know, that is crazy. Hour 40 on a treadmill, 15 incline, 4 speed. That is a lot. But for greatness, for the show, I understand. Continue, sorry.
No worries. Like, again, jump in. And it's really the energy. I really wanted to do a show. Like, there was nothing more at that time that I wanted. Is to just, I've been bulking for a year, and I was cutting for roughly half a year.
Mm-hmm.
So around 6 months. So I was really dedicated to that. I really wanted to succeed in my first show since I was struggling with body image for the longest time. And like, I kind of knew that stepping on stage would be one of my most redefining moments.
Yeah.
It would be like, I finally made it to this goal.
Yeah.
But afterward, it felt amazing.
That's awesome, man.
You had no idea the feeling of stepping on stage. It's very high energy. You would think that a lot of competitor would be competitive.
Yeah.
I grew up doing combat sports. My coach would be like, "Don't look at him. You're gonna kill him.
Yeah.
Or you're gonna fight him." However, I was expecting the same thing, the same mentality. I'm gonna be competing against this guy in a couple of hours. They were the nicest people I've ever met.
On stage, yeah.
Yeah,
Crazy.
because they kind of realize, regardless of what I can like sabotage in this person won't help me go ahead. Like, I can only do as much that I can do already. Like, everyone there was lean. They finished their prep, they were lean, they were ready to step on stage and show their best.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the other competitor respect the grind.
The grind, yeah.
Because anyone who have ever gone through show prep, so shout out to Try to Flex, knows how hard it is.
So hard.
It is really difficult to consistently be at that deficit. At some point, I'm like, it even gets so hard to sleep.
Yeah, because you're so hungry.
You're so hungry all the time. Like, you're always like angsty. Like, your body doesn't have the nutrients to do anything.
Yeah.
So stress hormones are like off the roof, cortisol and everything. So yeah, it's very, everyone who I've competed went through that. So they could always respect that grind. So everyone's like so positive because you went through this, like.
Can you talk about after the cut, after you step on stage, there is usually an initial period of gaining the weight back because of all your body's been so depleted of carbohydrates and you're on a very low calorie deficit or high calorie deficit. How much weight do you usually gain at post show, and then kind of what was that like?
My show weight was 180, depleting of water as well.
Mm-hmm.
Not the day off, but the day after, or transitioning to that week, I've gained up to 14 pounds.
Right.
I would imagine most of it is water.
It's all water. It goes away eventually, yeah.
But you will gain weight after, excuse me.
Bless you.
You will gain weight after the show naturally, since like Angela says, your body's depleted. So you want to basically gain all the weight back.
Mm-hmm.
So, but honestly, at that point, I didn't care. Like, cause show prep was hell.
Yeah.
And I think, apologies.
You're good.
I think anyone going through that also taught me that I've been through the trenches.
Yeah.
So nothing could compare to that.
Yeah.
So it shows me that I could do basically anything.
Tommy's right. It's like, I think one of the hardest things in life, right? Of course, business is hard. Of course, building whatever is extreme, or building anything in life is hard, but taking care of your body and cutting or losing all that weight to get to where you want this physique to be is one of the most hardest and most disciplined things you can do in your life. So once you kind of achieve that, you kind of develop this mental mindset or the scar tissue in your mind to know that I can do anything I set my mind to go. This was so freaking hard. I can do anything. Similar for me when I cut to like I think my lowest weight ever was like 161 or 160. And
He made such a incredible change.
Yeah. And it's crazy because you get to that weight, right? And then the next day, like, all right, I'm here at my goal weight. You do balloon up a bit, like 10 pounds because you've just been deprived, but it all goes away. Like, I think eventually I got to 160 and I leveled out at 165, right? So same thing with Tommy and all the competitors at the Try and Flex show. I was hanging out with them after, like the day after, or just I saw them in the gym again. They would lose, like, they were down to like whatever, a really low weight. And then the next day they're up 15 to 20 pounds. But then we all know that will just go away eventually.
Pretty much. Because there's two different kind of losing weight. There's temporary and there's long term. For long term, a slower cut is necessary because you want to lose the weight and have the weight stay off. For something like a fast cut, it's not sustainable, but it is for something like show prep. So something like that naturally will go back. However, if you want to do long-term weight loss, take it slow. Take it really slow, since the faster you cut, the more muscle you will eventually lose. So that's why, for me, I try to take it slow. So within like half a year, just to retain the most muscle. And even with that, like, since we are natural, we're just
all we're not on any performance enhancing substances or anything like that. We're all just natural guys who just like to go work out.
It's actually quite hard to not lose muscle in the cutting process. That's why people will try to bulk up for a year and a half, 2 years, just so they have enough muscle. So when they cut, they would have like actual muscle that won't disappear.
Like one of the competitors, Pavel, right? He's actually going to be on the show, I think next week. We're going to have one, so we're excited. But his physique was crazy because, shout out to you, bro. He bulked to like 199, almost 200, I think. And then he cut back down for the show, which was last week.
It was,
Yeah. And he had so much size because of how good his bulk was. Did you notice like his core was like flopping out? And all the competitors, like he had, I think, the most 3D abs.
Honestly, he has one of the most like pronounced abs that I saw. And see, for my show, we didn't give a lot of time to cut, and we're aware of that. We're also aware that these people are students. Like, we're not gonna
still, bro.
For my show, I had no attention span for my classes, but they still have to be done.
Yeah.
So that's why we didn't judge too heavily on body fat. And we try to push on something that they can control in terms of mandatory poses. Their transition. And one of the big things is confidence. One of the biggest thing in terms of bodybuilding is how you present yourself. If you go there shaky, not knowing what you're doing,
you tell, right?
It's not a good look.
Yeah, you didn't put the work in.
If you come in with a big smile, a proud chest, regardless of body weight, like, your stage presence is there. Like, you are radiating confidence. And I think at that point, like, I would rather see that than someone who's like, shaky up there and like shredded as heck.
And for Kyle, who was a previous guest in the podcast, I have never seen so much confidence in my life. It was actually very inspiring. Like he was screaming on stage, he was piping up the crowd. Then he practiced his posing so well that it was like, okay, this man deserves to be able to hype up the crowd because you believe him, because you know he put the work in. And then Tommy too. Tommy had a guest pose throughout the competition. We're going to put it up here probably. And he was smiling, came off very confident when he walked in, and his transitions were amazing. Like he was able to pose so well. And his coach, I sat next to his, because I was in the front. I was very fortunate to let me sit in the front with all the judges, just for kicks and giggles. His coach was so proud of him. I don't know if I was like legit next to him, I was looking when I was recording you. I was like, he's so happy for you, bro. It was so crazy. I was getting goosebumps just talking about it right now. Right? It was really nice.
I'm so happy you said that.
Super hard. And Alyssa. Alyssa was super happy watching you. So it was cool, man. It was so cool.
I appreciate that. But what was I before?
Yeah. We were talking about like posing and everything and kind of coming off with confidence. Can you talk about how to practice posing for those who are looking to compete in their first show? Because if you do go on stage for bodybuilding competition, the physique is a very important part with how you look. However, posing is extremely important as well. How did you practice that?
See, a lot of people wouldn't have done this. So when I was bulking to 230, I didn't have the best physique.
Mm-hmm.
However, I still practiced posing. And even though I didn't show off my best physique, posing is something that you can grow just through practice. Mm-hmm. Something that you can it's a skill that you can develop throughout the way.
Yeah.
So that means my only limitation is time. So rather than maybe while I'm on the cut, I practice posing, I would just practice posing throughout my bulk and cut, just so I can, just start off practicing, because I didn't know anything about posing. I just I just saw myself in the mirror. I was like, oh, this looks good. And at some point, I started recording myself, just seeing how I would look. And I think that really shows just filming yourself or just taking pictures shows your progress, as well as what you really need to work on.
Mm-hmm.
Because likewise, I would continue to do my own research and see what makes good posing, and I'll try to imitate that. And whenever there was someone posing in the locker room or at Remac, shout out to JC. I saw him posing in his transition, and immediately I was stoked. I was oh, someone else who did bodybuilding.
Yeah.
So I was asking him on some tips, how to do pointers.
Yeah.
On my posing. I would do that for anyone who seemed to have experience in terms of bodybuilding. Yeah. I just try to go up to people oh, you seem very knowledgeable. Let's see what's something I can learn from you.
Yeah.
That I can take in and develop for myself. Mm-hmm. And I think just being curious and
asking questions.
Yeah, asking questions and always being a student for life, basically. Mm-hmm. I'm at the point where I know I need to kind of let go of my ego.
Your whole life, just live and let go.
Pretty much.
Just keep learning. And
exactly. And it's you have a whole different perspective, because I really love learning.
Yeah.
And I think that part of me really helped me progress throughout the way, in terms of my career, in terms of my fitness goal, in terms of everything. Mm-hmm. I really just I even asked Angelo for some advice. Honestly. But under that, just don't be afraid to ask questions. You always gonna start somewhere. No one is a natural born,
anything.
Yeah. Unless you are. Kudos to you. Yeah, kudos to you.
Top 0.0.
But for the rest of us, I wasn't born with amazing genetic. At one point, I had very narrow shoulder and a wide waist. It wasn't a look that I enjoyed at all. And I just started learning from other people. I started just again, depleting my ego and strive out to find either mentors or anyone who had knowledge on what I wanted to know.
Yeah.
And overall, I just developed my posing to the point where I enjoyed it. Another thing is consistency.
Consistency is key for anything.
Oh, because whenever, this is what Arnold say, whenever he finished with a set, he would pose in the mirror. Mm-hmm. And that's just so he can have a better mind-muscle connection with the muscle he's working out.
Whoa, interesting.
And it adds a little bit more time for him to practice his posing. Mm-hmm. I imagine Arnold is a busy man.
Yeah.
So whenever he gets more time to pose or do whatever he needs to do, He's just overall getting more time.
Getting more time.
So let's say like I'm posing in between my set and after the locker room compared to just doing like after the locker room or after working out. I would essentially just have more time that I practice posing than if I was just posing at the locker room. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Again, it's something that you can practice and something that's developed with time.
With time, yeah.
So the whole process is just consistency.
Agree.
And that's one of my biggest tips.
So just consistency, always posing, always asking questions, and then recording yourself too a ton, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound difficult, but the motivation to just keep striving for that, I think it's one of the biggest like issue with most people.
Yeah.
But if you really want to do something, I really wanted to do my best, absolutely kill it at the show.
Yeah.
So I had all the motivation in the world.
To keep going. Tommy's right there. I agree. If you just literally show up every day, even if you feel like not doing it, even if you have a bad day when you're posing, when you're working out, whatever it may be you're trying to do in this life, you will beat like 99% of people, because a lot of people, whatever they do, they just kind of give up because they don't feel like it today, right? And Tommy showed up every day to pose. He showed up every day to work out. He showed up every day to do cardio. And maybe some days may have not been the best cardio session, the best lifting session, but because he just put the reps in, everything panned out. And you never lose this game of life if you never give up.
Honestly.
So that is the truth. Like, anything you want in this world, show up every day, never give up, and you will win. That's the whole thing.
I do believe that too, because like I'm always in the mentality that like, see, whatever, I always kind of just like try to add in a little bit more. Like, wow, I stopped at 9, however my competitor could be doing more, so I have to put in the work.
Yeah.
Like, regardless of what you do, do one extra rep, make one extra sales call, do one extra meeting, do one extra like interview. I think that little tiny step is make or break.
Exactly.
And if you can do that, like if you can do even like one extra thing every single day, that adds up.
No, I agree. And thank you for sharing that, right? You guys got like a kind of mindset, or a look into Tommy's mindset as he's kind of achieving all these amazing things with his life is very inspirational.
I appreciate that.
So I want to give you your flowers. Tommy's actually graduating in about a month now from when time of this recording. And I want to talk about your plans after graduation. You said you're going to get into training. So Tommy's links are all down below, guys. Take a look at that. Where are you going to go work? And then what are you planning to do? And kind of what are you going to be training people for?
So right now, my goal is to first graduate. But likewise, I would love to work as a trainer for now, as well as hopefully I will be going back to my last internship at FlexBike. And hopefully I can increase my work experience for that, since I do want to get my MBA. And of course, higher education, guys. But with EOS, it's actually a really cool job because right now, when I am still in school, it works with my schedule so well. Since I don't have a 9 to 5, I actually set up my own schedule.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, they gave me the tool. So they gave me the tool and the client where I can organize them. So if my class is around 11 to 3, I could schedule people either in the morning and at night, like perfectly working and being a student as well. And I think that flexibility really helps me, one, manage this lifestyle, as well as just showing me that it really shows me scheduling skills. And I think that's one of the biggest issue that I had at the beginning. But now that I'm more aware of deadlines, scheduling, everything actually falls into place. And for me, now talking about training, I am mostly a hypertrophy and weight loss coach.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
So one of my biggest skill is that I can help people feel the muscle of whatever they're working. And that's how I kind of illustrate that to any potential client. Because anybody can, go online and be like, oh, bicep curls for bicep. However, if you are just moving your arms, that's different than feeling your bicep. For example, like if you think of a regular bicep curl, so let's take this pencil. Moving your arm up and down would essentially count as a bicep curl for
Yeah.
like most people. However, if you extend your arms and lean with your pinky to curl, you will really feel the short head of the bicep brachii.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because your pinky is more of a driver force.
Mm-hmm.
And any of you watching, try that out.
That's pretty cool.
Try to push your arms out and curl.
That's awesome. No, that's great. Would you ever do like online coaching for our audience here, like who like with macros, with giving them a workout split?
That's actually my preferred way of training.
Oh, okay, there you go, guys.
Because hopefully the idea is that I'm getting a lot of experience in terms how to get clients as well as seeing a lot of different training style. Because looking at EOS has been really like life-changing because in terms of training, there's a lot of things that I don't know. And it's, again, I need to humble myself. There's a lot of things that I don't know that I still can learn from other people. And at my EOS, there's people who are more physical therapists, functional strength, injury prevention, rehabilitation, and there's a lot of things that I want to learn from them that would just help me throughout my life.
Mm-hmm.
I know the basic of whatever they're teaching, and regardless, I can use that to develop my own kind of training style for the people I want to train. And in terms of the online aspect, hopefully I could get around 30 clients online and potentially move to Thailand and get paid in USD.
Yeah.
And live off Thai baht.
Yeah.
Those favors are also there.
Yeah. And Thailand's beautiful too.
Thailand's amazing.
That's so cool, man. Yeah, we'll add, like I said before, Tommy's links are all down below. And dude, if you ever get into social media, man, like for YouTube, I always tell Tommy, man, he has the personality for YouTube. And he's already doing really big on Instagram with Try and Flex and his own page. But I'll send you this podcast episode so you can clip everything. And then that way you just, because it's going to be over like an hour or something. Clip everything, use it for your YouTube, make some shorts with it. And then that way you have a pipeline from your social media, right? Because I think if you have the YouTube, if you have the Instagram, you have scale with the world rather than, like just Southern California, right?
Of course.
Super excited for you, man. I'll send you this too when it's all done.
Right now, I do want to look into social media. I mean, the person we're going to ask first.
Really good too, bro. He inspires me for his content too.
Honestly, working with him has been... Let me talk about Trying to Flex a bit.
Yeah. Go ahead.
For that... So we got Kyle after fall quarter. So he was initially not on the board for fall quarter. However, after the show, our first show, there was only like 3 people. It wasn't the best show. We were
show though. You
of
have
course.
to start somewhere.
Exactly. None of us other than me have been to a bodybuilding show, and we didn't have like real people to judge. Like it was more just based on subjectiveness.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a lot of people. It wasn't like the most spontaneous show. However, people came, people liked it. That kind of like motivated me. Hey, people wanted to watch it. Yeah, and it was kind of a challenge. Like, I want to kill it.
Yes.
The next time we do a show.
Bro, that show was so fun. Keep going, man.
And during winter, we actually got Kyle to be part of the board. And he has been one of the biggest like changer, like crucial, like catalyst towards Trying to Flex.
Yeah.
Because he really blew up Trying to Flex in terms of social media.
Yeah, the marketing was so
Oh my God, I can't
crazy, bro.
I can't thank him enough. Like, he really is a trooper in terms of pushing out content as well as being very active towards club activity. He was there when we were doing tabling, fundraisers, and as well as multiple collabs.
Yeah.
He was there ready to like film anything, ready to put it, and for the sake of the club. It was really him, and it's not just him, like our other members that we took, all of them has put in the work, and I'm so grateful to have them as like my board member.
That was crazy. Tommy touched on something really important, right? Well, first thing, dude, the first thing you always do, like that first show, it will be like your trial run. You will figure it out. It may not be what you want it to be, but you learn so much from that experience because you iterate on things, you make it better next time going around. And then the next part was social media and marketing, right? Any product you ever create, ever have, it can be the greatest product in the world. Like in the Silicon Valley, engineers will create the greatest products in the world. But if no one knows about it, no one's going to use it, right? So for Tommy, they really focused on Instagram Reels and building out the social media through Instagram for Try and Flex. And then the show had so many people. The place was packed, so many competitors as well, because of the online presence and the great marketing that Tommy, Kyle, and the whole Try and Flex team did, because they got really good at marketing. So whatever you do in this life, whether sell a product, build your own brand, make sure your marketing is on point, and then make sure you have an amazing product like they did with the Try and Flex bodybuilding show.
Yeah, and speaking of that, and speaking for the actual show itself, you have no idea how happy I was that it went so well.
It was so fun. And Cindy, shout out Cindy, bro. You did a great job.
Yeah, shout out to every one of my board members. Like, they were all present, they were all helping, and I couldn't thank them enough.
Yeah.
I think the show, you have no idea how stressed I was for the show, because in my mind, a lot of people they had expectation. And I think that also motivated me to just
the best product out there.
Do the best show that anyone ever did. And we took it seriously. We got the venue. We even had little pins to legitimize our bodybuilding show. We had call-outs. We had people who we had plaques. We had awards. We had everything that a show should have. We even had judges who knew what they were doing. Like our judges.
Yeah, talk about the judges.
So all judges, we had judges for classic physique, men's physique, and bikini. And all the judges that were there has competed in that division.
Oh, really?
Yes.
No way.
So we got people who actually knew what to look for, just overall legitimizing everything. We did a show a little bit differently just due to the vast amount of people. We did it more elimination style rather than how a show should portray.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a little bit more fun just because you won't kill it the first time. You have to keep on
going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was overall blown by just the amount of people that showed up. People were bringing their family to
Oh my God, they were like parents too, bro.
And not only that, the energy was crazy. Because of who stepped on stage, everyone was cheering. The energy was wow. I think it was so supportive.
I think one of the cool parts too is everyone's the people who went on stage, they had a great time, but also took it seriously. Of course, I was watching Kyle. I think if you ever watch a bodybuilding show, a lot of times the competitors have to posture themselves for the guy. So I saw Kyle kind of moving himself forward. He was it was crazy.
People were taking it seriously.
Yeah.
And even though we didn't put too much emphasis on body fat, we wanted people to be serious. Mm-hmm. Even our call time, there was one person who unfortunately didn't make it for first call out. So we still wanted him to compete because we didn't want to exclude people. We just put him in men's physique, but in that sense, people have already gone up.
Yeah.
And we didn't have the time to just add him into the classic.
Classic, yeah.
We still had him do his individual routine for the classic physique. However, we didn't have him as a classic competitor because unfortunately he didn't show up on time.
As with anything in life, you gotta show up, so kind of understand.
So
it's a private. Okay. Let's see.
Go on. Where were we?
So the physiques, I was actually very impressed. Probably 90% of the physiques, you can tell people really dieted down. Our buddy James, Kyle, a lot of
Octavio.
Octavio, Ian. It was the Filippo, I think.
Filippo, yeah. Everyone was cut. Everyone was I even tried to do peak week. I did not have the I did not have the time to cut due to working and
school.
yeah, and running.
Yeah.
However, I tried my best to do peak week, just depleting carbs, depleting water, and carbing up for the show. And with no water, trying to manage the show as well as guest posing.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people had expectations for someone like me to pose, and it was going to be my last year, so why not?
Yeah, why not, dude? You did a great posting too. You really like stuck it out.
I appreciate that. I was doing two poses. I mean, like two individual routines.
Oh.
One for men's physique and one for classic. You can definitely tell which one had more time put in.
Yeah.
But overall, it's such a fun experience. Like stepping on stage made me feel, hearing all the like
The cheers.
like seeing all my friends who came to support me. It's very, very like, it's inspiring. Exactly.
So Tommy is actually one of the best networkers I've ever kind of seen and met, just because of how social he is and just the way he portrays himself. He's very, very approachable. So whenever you talk to Tommy, it's always a great time. So Tommy, what has allowed you to be such a great networker? And then what are the kind of benefits you've experienced from that?
I think one of the biggest tips that I could give is just knowing to approach first.
Mm-hmm.
Since from my experience, a lot of people are social. However, that instant of breaking the ice is very difficult for people. So I just thought maybe I should just break the ice. Just go up to them, introduce yourself. Hey, I noticed blank. Oh, wow, you have a good physique. Wow, what workout are you doing? Like something to strike up the conversation, and afterward, it's hard to see that person like not talk about what they love.
Yeah.
I think again, it's that little tiny like icebreaker that really sets the tone for everything. And another thing is I'm always approaching a perspective in terms of curiosity.
Yeah.
I really am interested to know like how like their fitness goal, like why they got into fitness.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want to know these things. I think being curious about the individual really helped me thrive in networking.
Mm-hmm.
Just because regardless of what happens, so let's say for just meeting a new client, I would just ask them, hey, what do you like to do for fun?
Yeah.
And that opens up a whole new door of like things to talk about.
Yeah.
And once you catch someone light up,
Yeah.
I forgot what's the term, but I heard it's called a light up moment.
Oh, that's fascinating.
It's-
A light moment.
Have you ever gone to a tangent where something just you love talking about? I would imagine if you're just podcasting, like
Gosh, yeah.
something that gets you like smiling.
It gets you super excited.
See, I think it's identifying those type of moments,
Mhm.
and I love seeing like the positive energy that you like radiate from that.
Yeah.
And I'm just overall curious on why you did it, what are you doing towards it, and like just listening to what you have to say.
Yeah.
I think in that aspect really opens people up, and I generally associate that positive moment with you.
With you, yeah. No, I agree. I feel like as humans, we're all social creatures.
Pretty much.
And especially now, like, because we have so much like social media, like TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, shorts now, we're like so used to being on our phones and just scrolling that when we interact with people,
It's
it's
difficult.
difficult now. Yeah. I mean, it's just kind of scary too.
Yeah.
Your phone's not going to judge you, but this person I just talked to might judge me. So I'm always scared. And for people like Tommy and like someone like me, like, don't get me wrong. Like, if you know me as a person, you think I'm super social, but I am terrified to talk to people. I just kind of have to, we just have to get over that little mini fear.
Of course.
And then eventually, like Tommy was saying, you really make their day when you talk to someone. And then that's kind of like really how you network. You're such a rare commodity. If you go to someone and say hi, that form of networking, just saying hi, is like super rare. And what are the benefits that's really helped you, like anywhere in your career or at school?
I could say that networking has helped me throughout the years, just because I kind of started a little bit before college and a little bit more high school.
Yeah.
I used to volunteer for Red Cross a lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just because I actually donated 3 times my body weight in terms of blood. In the span of 4 years,
That's crazy.
well, it becomes like my mom made me volunteer
Yeah.
by dropping me off at a blood drive center and picking me up later.
Yeah.
So I was volunteering. But overall, it's a really cool experience since you get to meet a lot of cool people. Like, you'll definitely see like your good mix of people who are just elderly, who's trying to help, as well as people who are just interesting and just seeing new faces.
Yeah.
I think that was my first experience of like dealing with people because I worked the front desk.
Oh, okay.
I was checking people in, and I was like, usually they tell me to talk to like greet and thank the donor.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really interested. I was like, oh, so why do you donate?
Yeah.
And they have a lot of cool stories. They will
A lot
say,
of great stories.
yeah, they will say, some of them are like very meaningful and like personal. Some of them, I won't say names, of course, but like they'll say, because my dad used to donate blood, or my dad, my mom, my relative, my sister would have like a blood disease that requires a blood transplant.
Yeah.
And hearing that, it's very just inspiring. Yeah. Like, people are doing it just because they want to help people. And I think in terms of that, it really, just talking to those people and talking really helped me gain more experience as well as referrals.
Your referrals, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people, like, from Red Cross, I got a nice referral just so, it really helped me get into, like, this college.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially with a full scholarship.
Wait.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. That's like a full. So that's wild. Like the networking opportunities you have, just for say meeting people from work, wherever you may be, can lead to like a full scholarship to the best universities in the world.
Honestly, there's other stuff as well. Like, for example, I'm actually in the process of getting a tattoo. And the artist that I am going to is a close friend of mine. Check him out, Quinn Tattoo on Instagram. And I met him through a different friend, and now he's giving me a really good price due to just me being cool with him.
Oh,
like,
wow.
As well as there's a lot of people who have given me opportunities as well as physical gifts just due to like networking.
Yeah.
Networking has been very overall a catalyst within my life. Again, giving me opportunity after opportunity to either meet more people or go to more event that leads to more like networking.
Yeah. I think one of the craziest things too is that when you start like just going to school and you start working, everything in general, it's that like you'll realize that one, of course, you need to be competent in anything you do, but also too, it's like people want to work with people they enjoy being around, right?
Of course.
So that's kind of like the benefits of networking. You network well, people really like you, they like being around you, and they want to work with you, they want to do other opportunities with you, and they want to kind of help you grow and be of service to you because of who you are and how you are like a positive force in their life.
And let me say, Angelo has been one of the biggest supporters of Try to Flex. Even when we were fall quarter, we didn't have any money. We were selling protein banana bread.
Yeah, bro.
Angelo was the first customer in line, giving us extra. I couldn't add.
I had to, boys.
Angelo has been one of the biggest supporters, and I think, honestly, in terms of Try to Flex growth, it's due to networking.
Yeah.
Because starting out on our Instagram page, we initially got 200 to 400 new followers just because they knew me or the board members. So if I wasn't as sociable, as talkative, as like extroverted to as many people in the gym, those initial, early adopter, which is one of the hardest things to get as like you're growing either a product or a company or any kind of thing. It's one of the hardest, and just having people to support you at the beginning, life-changing. Because like afterward, you'll probably trend.
Oh yeah. No, I agree. It kind of compounds over time, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's always the initial adopters to like see your content.
Yeah.
That's the hardest. And again, networking really accelerated that.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I think I saw that too with your Instagram, right? That initial content you got, and then it just kind of grew and grew. And your content is really good. Like, it's actually really entertaining to watch. Like, your interviews, like, oh, what is your favorite body part to work out, or stuff like that. It's actually really fast. And they're getting a couple thousand views on Instagram, and I know they're going to just keep growing and growing.
Right now, our highest video is doing like around 100K. Yeah, in terms of like watch, and all thanks to our amazing team. Like, shout out to Try to Flex. Like,
Shout out to Trianflex team. But yeah, Tommy, man, that's amazing. Thank you so much for coming to the podcast, brother. We always like to end the podcast on one last question. So you've come such a long way from your whole career at UCSD, from your career in training and fitness. I want you to imagine Tommy back in the day, like at home playing video games and just trying to figure life out. Seeing where you are now, I'm so proud of you, bro.
Oh, I appreciate that.
What is one piece of advice you would have given your younger self?
It's basically, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to try things. Don't be afraid to fail. This is probably very generic. You probably hear that for most like influencer of like growth influencer. But in the reality, it's true. Like, being afraid to do things is one of the biggest limitations. Like, hold off your ego. Don't be afraid to try things, and like strive in rejection.
Yeah, get those no's.
I think exactly. Like, when I was do I keep going on? Oh yeah. When I was working as a door-to-door salesman, at one point, I would strive to get that no, so it would help me pursue more yeses. Yeah. Again, it's a number game. It's the law of averages. Like, you will go up to, regardless, maybe 100 sales calls, 100 doors, 100 rejection, or 100 attempts, just to get maybe 2 or 3 rejection.
Yeah.
2 or 3 like accepts.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically. Again, like, life is like more of a number game. You just have to keep on trying. And I think in terms of that consistency, you will reach greatness if you keep on going.
Oh, 100% agreed. 100% agreed. Thank you, Ty, man. That was some great advice on just never giving up. You'll reach greatness as long as you keep going. And all your experience in life has really kind of shown that you're a testament of hard work, of never giving up, and becoming your best self. And it's such a beautiful process to watch you create who you want to become, like your physique, your confidence, your degree now, your job after work, and then you're going to build your brand, your business. I'm excited to see you become this amazing guy who's in Thailand, all the amazing customers who are going to come to you, and then just you radiating positivity and helping people with their lifestyles, their bodies, because I think, I know deep down, once you take care of your body, take care of yourself, the whole world just opens up for you.
It does. Like, I've never been more like satisfied with life. Mm-hmm. Like, fitness, I'll leave.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Fitness really changed my life overall for the better. I've never made more friends. I've never had more opportunity. I've never physically feel good, emotionally feels good, and just more satisfied with my body. For me, I am a true believer that fitness fuels ambition. I'm not fully sure who said that. If not, I'll coin it.
Just do tell me.
Yeah. But again, it's been a pleasure being interviewed by D'Angelo Carlos, and it's honestly a pleasure and a privilege to be interviewed. I know,
bro.
I'm being honest. Like, I see bigger, better things for you. I see you, like I said, you also are a example of growth and just striving for consistency. Regardless of like views, I always see you posting new things, trying new stuff, and like, if I see you doing it, I'm gonna support you. Like, I'm the biggest Angelo supporter, just because it's hard getting that initial like supporter. So I'm Team Angelo. I'm part of the Jello family.
Jello.
All right, hey, it's been a pleasure,
my brother. Thank you, Jello family. Thank you, Tommy, so much for coming onto the podcast, the Angelo Carlos podcast. We're so blessed, and of course, bro, yeah, I got you. Please like, comment, and subscribe. We are growing so fast. Thank you guys for helping Tommy become monetized, and we're gonna keep growing the channel and bringing amazing guests like Tommy. As I said before, Tommy's links are all down below. His Instagram and every social media that if you want to reach out to him. He is going to be starting his own business soon too, with the whole training, coaching, and everything. And he works at EOS. If you do want to reach out to him and have you coach and train him, I recommend him 10 out of 10. He's amazing.
I appreciate it.
Of course, of course.
Also, we did not wear this on purpose.
You guys are two guys on a match. Oh.
Honestly, we just wanted to look like studs. And everyone like me carrying the same outfit.
Great minds think alike.
Honestly.
With that being said, Jello family, please like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you on the next episode. Have an amazing day.
Cheers.
Peace.